In our school corridor, there was always a bunch of students gathered. You wouldn't believe what they were doing. They were passing chits. It was a great source of entertainment for them. Sometimes we also joined them. There was this one time when our class was going on and Mr. Williams, our biology teacher, was writing something on the board. Now, Mr. Williams had this handlebar moustache. Those long, thick whiskers would always annoy him. So he kept pushing them back. And then this girl, Natasha, she wrote something on a chit and passed it to her friend. Her friend burst out laughing. She couldn't control herself. And then the whole class started looking at Natasha's chit. It said, "Miss Anjali, will you love me?" After reading this, the entire class started laughing. Everyone was in splits. Even Anjali couldn't help but smile. But then Mr. Williams started banging his ruler on the table. "Is this a joke for you? This is a classroom, not a comedy club." We all apologized to him and promised that it would never happen again. Now, after this incident, whenever Anjali passed by Natasha's bench, she would playfully pinch her. One day, Mr. Williams entered the class and saw Ravi and Basha passing a chit. "Get up, you two," he said, and the entire class went silent. We were scared that he might scold them. But instead, Mr. Williams asked them to come near the blackboard. What were they doing? They were writing something on the blackboard. Every time they wrote something, they would pass the chit to the next row. After they finished writing, he turned around and said, "Students, today we will learn about the tiger. The way a tiger hunts in the jungle, its strength, its courage, its speed must inspire us." Everyone pretended to take notes, but at the last bench, Ravi and Basha were busy passing paper chits. Ravi wrote something on a chit and whispered to Basha, "Hey Basha, if Sir shaves his moustache, won't he look like a kitten instead of a lion?" Basha tried hard to control her laughter, but it was difficult. She burst out, but she tried to stifle it. Anjali, who was sitting behind them, turned back and glared at them. "You two are always up to nonsense. Shut up and study," she whispered. Ravi wrote another chit, but he was so engrossed in what he was writing that he did unnotice he was holding it too far out. And then, whoopee, it slipped from his fingers and landed on the bench in front, on Chintu's bench. Chintu picked it up and read it out loud. "Anjali, will you love me?" The entire class erupted in laughter. Some students banged their desks, some screamed at the top of their lungs. Anjali was shocked. She looked at the chits in her hand, and then at Chintu. She was embarrassed and angry. "What is this nonsense? Who wrote this?" she shouted. Ravi and Basha looked at each other. They covered their mouths with both hands as if to say, "We know nothing." Mr. Williams slammed his book on the desk. Silence. "Is this a classroom or a movie theatre?" he yelled. He got up from his chair and started walking towards the board. At that moment, he didn't notice that the floor was covered with chalk powder. His foot skidded and he slipped. "Oh my God," everyone gasped. Mr. Williams fell on the floor with a loud thud. Chalk dust flew everywhere and it covered his face completely. We all burst out laughing. One student shouted, "Sir, instead of a tiger, you just fell like a rat." Mr. Williams got up, brushed the dust off his clothes and said, "Quiet." I said, "Quiet." Then he turned around and sneezed. A big puff of chalk dust flew into the air and everyone laughed even louder. The bell rings and students from all corners of the college canteen rush towards the counter. It's a huge crowd. In the middle of it all is Basha, our notorious foodie hero. He's already yelling at the canteen owner. "Basha, Anna, 1 plate of noodles, 4 samosas, 3 bhajis and 2 mango juices. And Anna, please write it on my credit list." Canteen owner, credit. "For the last 2 months, you have been ordering food on credit. How much do you think I have in my shop? How much do you think I earn in a day? I am running a business here, not a charity. First, pay me the bill of last month and then order food." Our hero Basha shrinks in size and hides behind the counter. His face is as red as a tomato. That's when Ravi, our resident reporter, joins in. Holding a pen like a microphone, he announces in a mock-serious tone, "Attention, attention, breaking news, breaking news." The great foodie Basha has once again ordered food without money. The canteen owner is chasing him like a hungry lion. More in this news. All the students around erupt into laughter and clap. Basha runs and hides under a nearby table. The canteen owner runs after him with a spoon in his hand. Our heroine, Anjali, enters the scene. She's furious. "Anjali, Ravi, what nonsense are you talking about? And Basha, how can you eat for free every day? At least have some shame." As she's saying this, she steps on a plate of samosas lying on the floor, slips and falls with a thud. Her notes fly in all directions. That's when our innocent hero, Chintu, rushes to her side. "Chintu, careful, Anjali. Are you okay? See, even samosas can't bear your anger." Everyone bursts into laughter again. Even Ravi. He's bending down, holding his stomach and laughing uncontrollably. Ravi, breaking news update. Exclusive footage. The topper Anjali has been defeated by a samosa. Just in it, Anjali gets up, fumes with anger and says, "That's enough. You three. If you don't stop this nonsense, I'll go and complain to the principal." From under the table, Basha crawls out. He's still holding a samosa in his mouth. With a muffled voice, he says, "Principal or not, first let me finish this last bite." Everyone roars with laughter again. Anjali throws her hands up in the air in defeat and storms off. Ravi and Basha high-five each other. Only Chintu looks confused. But who will pay for all this food? Ravi and Basha burst out laughing. The canteen owner points his finger at Chintu and shouts, You are his friend. You pay for it." Chintu's eyes pop out of his head in surprise. Everyone laughs again. The scene freezes with Chintu's shocked expression. "Hey guys, what will happen next? Will Chintu pay the bill? What will Basha do next? Do let us know in the comments section. And we will be back soon with another new episode. Until then, goodbye." The bell rings and students start returning to their seats after going to the canteen. They re-chattering about how they got caught in the rain and discussing what they should order next time. Just then, the principal enters the classroom. Everyone immediately stops talking and sits straight. Well, almost everyone. Basha is still chewing his samosa while pretending to study. The principal looks around suspiciously. "Good morning, students. I heard that your discipline has been questionable. Let's see how serious you really are," he says sternly. "Cheyyandi," Ravi whispers to Basha. "Act like angels, or we'll be in big trouble." Basha keeps his eyes on his book, pretending to read while also taking an occasional bite of his samosa. "It's too late, Basha. I'm already halfway to heaven with this samosa." The principal walks closer to Basha and squats down to look at his book. To his surprise, Basha is actually reading. The principal stands up and starts walking away. Meanwhile, Ravi sneaks to the projector and quickly plugs in a USB stick. He then runs back to his seat before anyone notices. The principal walks past Ravi and he pretends to be deeply engrossed in studying. Suspicious, the lecturer leans towards Ravi and whispers, "Ravi, what are you doing there?" "Sir, nothing at all. Just checking the projector settings," Ravi replies innocently. The principal responds, still looking suspicious. He walks out of the classroom, leaving the students to their studies. As soon as the door closes, Ravi presses the play button. The projector turns on and a funny comedy movie clip starts playing full volume. Loud cartoonish music fills the room. The principal, who had just stepped out, is startled and jumps in shock. What? What is this?" he exclaims. Everyone tries to stifle their laughter, but it's no use. Chintu can't help but stand up and shout, "Sir, it's part of the syllabus. Part 2, Entertainment section." His laughter echoes through the classroom. The principal looks at each student in disbelief. The sight of the entire class uncontrollably laughing at the silly movie clip makes him feel a little uneasy. Ravi, trying to contain his laughter, points at Basha and yells, "It was Basha, sir. He plugged in the wrong USB stick." He always does this during class to disrupt everyone. Basha, still with a mouthful of snack, shrugs innocently. Just before Basha can respond, the principal interrupts, pinching the bridge of his nose. "Enough, everyone. Stay in your seats. I don't know whether to punish you or watch the rest of this comedy movie," he says, his voice shaky with suppressed laughter. But the more he tries to stay serious, the harder it becomes. The image of a stern principal watching a comedy movie with his students is just too comical. The class erupts into laughter again. Ravi, unable to hold back, throws his head back and laughs loudly. Even the lecturer facepalms and shakes his head, a small smile playing on his lips. After a few minutes of uncontrollable laughter, the principal composes himself. "All right, class dismissed," he says, still slightly flustered, as the students pack their things and leave the classroom. Chintu discreetly takes popcorn from his bag and munches on it while pretending to study. Once everyone has left, the principal turns to the lecturer and says, "I don't know whether to punish them or not. Maybe a little laughter is good for them, right?" The lecturer nods in agreement. "Yes, sir. Maybe a little laughter is good for discipline too." The principal thinks for a moment. "Well, maybe you're right. But next time, I want to see tigers hunting, not popcorn-eating students," he grumbles, a small smile still playing on his lips. The scene freezes with the image of the principal shaking his head and smiling, surrounded by his chuckling students. Ravi gives Basha a thumbs up, which Basha returns with a mischievous grin. The students exchange high fives and continue to whisper jokes about their principal slipping into comedy. The scene opens on a college sports ground. Students are lined up at the start line for a race. They're all serious except for two, Ravi and Basha, sports teachers shouting, "All right, students, today's 100-meter sprint will test your speed and stamina. Ready, set, go." Everyone starts running except Basha. He collapses dramatically onto the ground. "SER, my heart can't run. I think I need oxygen." Meanwhile, Ravi immediately takes a hidden shortcut through a side path. As the race progresses, we see Chintu running in the opposite direction. He's confused. Wait, which way is the finish line? He accidentally runs straight into the principal, who is standing with the sports teacher. Both of them tumble down in a heap. The students laugh uncontrollably. Ravi is sneaking closer to the finish line, trying to hide a smirk on his face. Anjali is sprinting ahead, focused and serious. She spots Ravi. "Don't even think about cheating." Ravi pretends to be innocent. "Cheating? Me? Never." He reaches the finish line first, but just as he does, he trips over a cone that the sports teacher placed and falls flat on his face. The sports teacher facepalms. "I told you, shortcuts never work." Back at the main track, Basha is crawling toward the finish line. He's still eating a snack that he brought secretly. Victory tastes better with a samosa. Chintu finally finds the correct direction and starts running. But he runs full speed into the snack store. Snacks fly everywhere. Students collapse laughing. Chintu looks around innocently. I just wanted a snack. Victory." Anjali shakes her head, but she can't help laughing despite being so serious. Ravi sits up, covered in dust, but he's laughing. "Best race ever. Who needs medals when you have comedy chaos?" The principal is dusting himself off and he finally stands up. From now on, sports day is cancelled. Or at least comedy day. The scene freezes as the students are laughing, covered in dust and snacks. And we hear the sound of the sports teacher sighing dramatically. That's the end of the episode. Hey, did you ever cheat on a test? Well, me neither. In today's story, we have Ravi and Basha, their best friends who study in the same class. Now, one day after school, they were both back from the sports field. They were tired and just wanted to go home, but no such luck. Their lecturer had kept a surprise test, and he was standing right in front of the class with papers in hand. Now, surprise tests are really scary, but even more scary is when you're wearing your sports uniform. And what made it worse was that you were wearing your football jersey and your maths was weak. But Ravi had a plan. He would secretly borrow answers from Basha during the test. But before that, there was an even bigger challenge. You see, they had to write an essay about Pythagoras' theorem, and that too without referring to any notes. So, how did Ravi plan on cheating? Well, by using the power of Bluetooth. Yep, Ravi put on his wireless earphones and connected them to his friend's phone. He just had to type Pythagoras on his phone and boom, the answers would appear. In fact, the answers would appear right on his wristwatch. How cool is that? But just as Ravi was getting ready to steal answers, his eyes fell on a plate of cookies kept on the desk. They were chocolate chip cookies. Delicious. But he couldn't resist. He had to take a bite. And well, this is what happened. Just as he bit into the cookie, the principal entered the class. And not only the principal, the whole school staff was right behind him. You see, every month the teachers held a surprise test, and this month it was the principal's turn. But the principal wasn't looking at anyone. He was on a phone call. Principal and hello, Sir and Jays, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, sir, not a joke. It's a surprise test. Okay, sir, I'll ask them. Then the principal turned towards the class and shouted to 2 equals 5. Who said that? And then he looked at the students, one by one. Now, Ravi was wearing his Bluetooth earphones, so he heard the question loud and clear. In fact, everyone heard it loud and clear, because it wasn't just the principal who was holding a mic. All the teachers behind him were also holding mics. And, well, they weren't there to take the test. They were there to supervise it. So as the principal asked the question, Dois mais dois igual a cinco, everyone started laughing. Even Basha started laughing. He was trying to muffle his laughter, but it was coming out of his mouth. Then the principal looked at Basha and pointed towards him and shouted, "What do you think this is?" A joke. A very funny joke indeed. You may be good at sports, but if you don't take studies seriously, I'll expel you from school. Then he turned towards Ravi and asked, "Did you know 2 plus 2 equals 5? To which Ravi whispered, maybe it's educational, public learning. By then, the whole class was in splits. They were laughing so hard they could barely contain themselves. Meanwhile, Anjali was busy writing the test. She was totally focused and had no clue what was happening around her. Suddenly, a ceiling fan turned on and blew her test paper right out of her hands. "Hey, my paper," she shouted. And, well, Chintu caught the paper mid-air, but he thought it was a wrapper of a biscuit. So he just kept it under his bag. When the lecturer saw that Chintu had something under his bag, he asked, "Is that a test paper or a lunchbox?" To which Chintu replied, "Sir, I think it's a snack wrapper." After that, everyone laughed so hard some students fell off their benches. Basha was drawing pictures instead of writing answers. So he took out his drawing and showed it to Ravi. "Look, Ravi, I drew a tiger hunting a samosa," he said proudly. To that, Ravi said, "Perfect." That's exactly the answer the principal will never expect. By then, the lecturer had had enough. He was fed up with all the commotion. He looked at them and sighed. "Next time I'll give a surprise test. I'll surprise myself and take a nap while you all fail." And well, that's exactly what happened. Stay tuned for more such fun stories, and please share this video with your friends and family. We'll be back soon with another story. Until then, keep watching our videos and stay tuned for more updates. Thank you. Hey there, welcome back to our channel where we bring you the funniest and the best quality animation videos. Today's story is about a principal who gave his students a very interesting punishment. So, let's begin. It was a normal day at school. The sun was shining, birds were tweeting, and students were making lots of noise. But why? Because it was a Saturday, and no one liked Saturdays. Saturdays meant extra classes and no playtime, but today was different. After the chaos of the surprise test given by the principal, everyone went back to class to take the test. After all this shouting and screaming, everyone was very tired. Suddenly, a loud cheer was heard from the playground. The students came out of their classrooms to see what happened. They saw their classmates playing a thrilling game of cricket. Everyone joined in, and soon the entire school ground was filled with students playing and eating snacks from the canteen. It was a feast for the eyes, a cacophony for the ears, and a torment for the principal. He was watching everything from his office window. He was fuming. Suddenly, he banged on the window. The students stopped their play and looked towards the principal's office. The principal came out and said in a loud voice, "That's enough, students. I have had it with your nonsense today. You have made a lot of noise and wasted your time. You think this is how to run the school? No, I won't tolerate it. You all are hereby punished." The students started arguing amongst themselves. "What punishment? I don't want to clean the toilets again." "Me too," but the principal cut them off. He said, "You will all clean the school ground and make it neat and tidy. This punishment is for today, and you will stay here till you finish." The students groaned, but they knew they had no option. So they started picking up trash and arranging the benches and desks. Ravi was talking to Basha. He said, "See, Basha, even cleaning can be fun if we make it a game." Basha was still munching a snack and didn't even listen to him. She continued eating. Ravi sighed and started cleaning. Chintu was filling buckets with water when he accidentally spilled it on Ravi's head. Ravi was drenched in water. Chintu was scared. He didn't mean to do it. He apologized. "Sorry, Ravi, I thought you were a plant." Ravi laughed and wiped water off his face. He said, "Great, now I'm officially a watered plant. Thanks, Chintu." Anjali shook her head and laughed. Despite herself, she said, "You guys are impossible. But at least everyone's helping kinda." Suddenly, the lecturer walked by and saw them. He smiled and said, "See, principal, laughter and chaos sometimes teach lessons better than discipline. Right, students?" The principal couldn't help but smile back. He said, "HMPH, yes. I guess laughter is part of learning too. But next time I want tigers, not samosas and flying papers." Everyone laughed. Ravi pretended to roar like a tiger. Basha waved a samosa like a flag. Chintu jumped up and down excitedly. Anjali rolled her eyes, but a smile crept on her face. After a few hours, the students had cleaned the ground and arranged everything. The principal thanked them and said, "You have learned your lesson, I hope." Then he left for his office. The students started playing again. They were happy that the principal gave them a fun punishment. They enjoyed cleaning the school ground with their friends. So, friends, what did we learn today? We learned that cleaning can be fun if we try. We also learned that a little bit of chaos is fine, but we should know when to stop. We should be responsible students and follow rules, but we should also make time for fun and frolic. After all, school isn't just about books and rules. It's about growing up, making mistakes, and learning from them. It's about finding joy in simple things and creating memories that last a lifetime. So next time you're at school, remember to study hard, but also make time for a little bit of laughter and cleaning. Who knows, you might just learn a thing or two while having fun. We hope you enjoyed this animation. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, so you never miss out on any of our wonderful stories. And we'll see you next time.